everyone. So I wanted to make a video, a YouTube video about this bike. This is a 2021 GSXR1000. From 2017 to 2022, they are pretty much all the same. There's some little differences like a quick shifter and some other jazz that are different about these bikes. But for the most part, the motors are the same, and the ECU flashing and the tuning is about the same. So this video is going to be talking about ECU flashing and dyno tuning, and we're also going to do before and after. So this is 100% stock, by the way. Here, and I'll show you. We got it all set up here. That's the stock muffler. There's a stock air filter. We are on a stock chain and sprocket setup. It is 100% stock. The owner installed a cage on it, which we got to take all that off when we're doing the exhaust install today. But needless to say, we're going to swap all that out. We're going to do some baseline runs, and then we are going to do some runs with just the exhaust. He bought a Yoshimura stainless system, and I'll put it on the screen here. Exactly what system it is, I'm not sure yet, but it's a full system. It's a stainless. I believe he said the AT2. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this piece off, a bunch of the tail section off, and we're going to get to the ECU, which is located right around here. We're going to get to that ECU, and then what we're going to end up doing is we'll do the flash and the dyno tune, and then we'll show you kind of the end, what the differences are and what you should expect out of a good ECU flash and dyno tune out of these bikes. These things are monsters. They're definitely one of my favorite bikes out right now. They make a ton of power. They're very fast, very linear power curve, exactly what you want out of a bike. It just constantly pulls all the way to pretty much redline. Very strong bike. Suzuki did a hell of a job on this, and very excited. Yeah, this thing's pretty much brand new. Now, and we have another one of these, a 2022, coming in about a week or two when the exhaust gets in, where we got a full M4 system that we're gonna install. So if the weather's about the same, we can do some comparison graphs and actually see what this one produced versus the 2022 with similar mileage and just slightly different mods. Like I said, instead of the full Yoshi, it'll have the full M4 exhaust instead. I want to say it's the Street Slayer with the carbon can on it that we ordered, but I'll confirm that in the other video whenever we get the other exhaust. So I'm gonna pause it now. We're gonna cut, and we're gonna do some baseline runs. All right. We got the tail off, tail's off. Here's the ECU. We got our inductive pickup being ran from the dyno. So it comes from our dyno stack down there. It's gonna come up here, right here. It's gonna tap in. So the wire that I'm tapping into is one of the ground wires for the coils. That's actually what sends the signal to get your RPM. So the coils, they get a constant 12 volts whenever you start your motorcycle up. It sends out a ground trigger, and that's the trigger for it to fire. That's the signal to say, hey, fire, 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 which is what you get RPM from. So the ground wire from the coil, this is I don't know what coil, this is cylinder 2 or 3 is yellow, but anyway, we're gonna pick up the ground wire trigger, and this is the ECU. It's underneath the starter relay here in the back of the tail section. Here's the servo motor. So we're gonna take this out for the guy today. When we flash this ECU, we're gonna delete this sensor out, so we'll be able to pull this out, so he'll get actually some trunk room to fit a wallet or credit card or something. Anyway, we got it all set up here, so we're getting ready to do some baseline. We're gonna make sure the bike is good. We're gonna clean up the tray, and yeah, do some baseline runs. Should be pretty cool. This will be interesting. All right. whopping 157 horsepower at 10,950 RPM, or let's just round up, let's say 11,000. And engine torque, almost 76 foot-pounds at 10,370. So as you can see, this is air fuel down here. We have a pretty rich spot right around the 9,000 to 10,000 range. That's just the heater turning off for the wideband. And then we have a lean pocket right here. So this lean pocket, that little lean spot, which means there's too much air, not enough fuel, that's where the throttle plates are shutting down. So roughly right at around 11,000 RPM, Suzuki, they start shutting the throttle plates back down. So they're all controlled by drive-by-wire now, so it's all done electronically. So, and the air fuel looks pretty decent, a little rich on up here, but as you can see, the power is coming up. It wants to keep going, but they limit it, so they start shutting the throttle plates down. So you're actually making less power after 11,000 RPM. So 12, 13, 14, you're losing power. You might as well shift at 11, stay in your power band. So anyway, we're gonna be fixing a lot of that today, and I just wanted to get a baseline off, so again, we can at least have a nice baseline number. And then, like I said, we're gonna change the exhaust and put the Yoshi on. And then after we put the Yoshi on, we're going to run it again, do another baseline. And then, like I said, after that, we'll start doing our ECU flashing and dyno tuning. We got the bike on the lift from doing the baseline pulls. As you can see, everything's still somewhat torn apart. We got to take the cage off before we can take the fairings off. And then after we take the fairings off, then we can get to the exhaust and some of the other jazz. So needless to say, this is going to be the last time we are going to see that it is stock. Completely stock can. So right here, this is called the exhaust servo, or some people call it the exhaust butterfly. It is an actual butterfly. If you follow the cables up through here, they come up into here and then they go to here, this little box. So that box regulates when this opens and closes. So they say it's to give you some better low end torque. That's, I mean, it's true, maybe true with the stock system. I haven't really tried it all open versus not on a completely 100% stock system. In my opinion, there's no point, because you have a catalytic converter that holds a lot of power back as it is. So needless to say, we get rid of this, and there's another cable. I don't know if you can see it, but there's another cable down there, and it actually connects to this butterfly, and it runs up to the header. Same thing, they say it's just to help regulate the airflow so we can get better low end torque and better power band with the stock system, which we're gonna get rid of all of that anyways. So we got the fairings off. We actually got pretty lucky. So once we took the front bolts off, we were actually able to kind of pull the cage a little bit out, kind of push the fairing in a little bit and kind of swing it down. So we got a little lucky with it, saved us a little bit of a hassle. So we'll see how the rest of it goes though with space and everything. We're gonna lift the rear up also so that we can create a little bit more room up underneath the bike so we can pull this one out and get the new one in without scratches or anything like that. So we're gonna have to get a bunch of this stuff out of the way. We're gonna pull all of this stuff forward, the oil cooler, the radiator, we're gonna loosen it all up. And like I said, we're gonna pull it forward, get it out of the way. We gotta unbolt some stuff. We have an O2 sensor right here. We're gonna undo that guy. We actually don't need it for the full exhaust, so we're gonna pull it out and we're gonna delete that out of the system. And like I said, here's the servo. You can kind of see it a little bit more clearly now. It's pretty intricate. We'll take this cover off, and then we got to undo all the cables, and then we're gonna pull the cables all out. Here's that other cable that goes all the way up to the header, and here's that butterfly I was talking about. So as you can see, it comes right up here, right in there. If you can see where it's at right there. But anyway, yeah, it's one of these cross pipes here for the header. Got everything installed. It looks good. We're gonna do a sound check, and I ended up keeping the cables on this bike just in case if he has any issues. You can always reinstall the stock system. But this AT2 by Yoshi looks killer. It looks really good. I like it. Very good quality. nice color. Whatever this coating is, this is like a titanium coating, if you will. It looks great, man. They even have the primary tubes. They have them not lasered, but they have plates that they basically print out, and it comes with it. So it actually makes it pretty easy to install this exhaust, all in all, or a lot easier than some other ones, I should say. And I believe these retail right now around $1,300–1,400, so not that expensive either in the grand scheme of things. And like I said, man, this thing looks sharp. I'm definitely a fan. Well, let's kick it on real quick. Let's see what it sounds like. Now with your initial startup with a new exhaust, you know, you're gonna get a little bit of smoke as it's burning in. So we did spray a little bit with WD-40. So we're gonna wipe it up and kind of wipe it down again here. Just so make sure that it has a nice smooth burn. So it looks really good when it starts to burn in. All the colors, they'll look really good as you're warming up the exhaust. So we're gonna wipe it down, clean it up, throw the fairings back on it, and get it on the dyno. Let's see if you can see it. We just baseline 161 at 1095 RPM and 78 foot-pounds of torque. So here's our new curve. So if you look down here, this is the AFR curve. So whenever you install an exhaust, I usually get people that tell me the bike rides like crap, it feels real sluggish, etc., hesitations, those types of things. This is why. With the aftermarket exhaust, the airflow is substantially increased. So you get what's called, these are lean spots. So this is super, super, super lean. Here, let me target it so we can actually see what the AFR is. Yeah, see 16 is the air fuel ratio, 16:1. So it's very, very lean right now, in other words, and it just creates a horrible ride for the rider. The bike, like I said, it'll hesitate, it'll buck, it'll do all kinds of crazy things. Sorry, it's the afternoon here, so we got a lot of sun reflection. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a base flash in it, and we're gonna see what it does. We'll see what it does with just the base map in it. So as you can see, with just a base flash, run file 2 is our base flash. It pulled out 178 with almost 80 foot-pounds. We're at 79 foot-pounds of torque at 10,270 RPM. And if you look here, I'll kind of highlight it here so we can see. Look at the air fuel. Again, this is just a base flash. It's not a full dyno tune. This is just a close map that I had stored away. The green run is what we just did. And if you look, that air fuel is pretty good just for a base flash. It has a little bit of lean spot right here. We're sitting around, probably around 14, about 15 AFR. Yeah, about 15 too, which is still pretty lean. I want to smooth that out. I want to smooth that out a little bit more. But if we look at the green line, let's look at this green curve over the other ones. Let's pull this down so we can see it better. So you see we pretty much have a decent gain almost throughout the, well, a good amount of the graph. We have a little bit of low in here. Again, this is just a base flash. And then we have a bunch up top. Here's where we hit this gain up top. So let's see, let's target, this is 13,000 RPM roughly. Let's see, 13,000 RPM. Baseline was 149.5 horsepower. Baseline with the exhaust was 153.5 horsepower, 5.2. And then with the base flash, we're at 177.7 horsepower. So we gained what, 24 horsepower just with the base flash. 24 horsepower gain at 13,000 RPM is pretty substantial for, again, just a base flash and a quick pull, let alone no dyno tuning. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna factor in some dyno tuning with this, and we're gonna play with some numbers here and see what we can get out of it. Just a little lean blip. That's usually from the stab. You can see it right here at around 5,000 RPM. We get just a slight little lean spot at 14.4. I'm gonna add a little bit of extra fuel right there to help bring it down, but I'm not gonna beat on the bike any more than I have. So we've done a total of 6 runs, final tune, basically 184 wheel horsepower. And we are ending at 81, almost 82 foot-pounds of torque at 10,000 RPM. So nice clean line. Like I said, I'm just gonna add a little bit more fuel here, but I'm not gonna run the bike again. I'm just gonna add it and move it on. So, all right, thanks for watching.